Hi, if you're new here, my name is Catherine. I'm a knitter living in the French Alps and I share my knitting journey here on YouTube and also on Instagram. You can find me at Cat and Stitches on Instagram. Today I have some finished objects to show you and new plans for summer knits. So grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea or a fresh beverage and grab your knitting and let's jump in. Let's start with finished projects. So the first finished project I have to show you today is my soft edges top, which was a test knit for Suvi Knits or Suvi's Designs. It was my very first test knit and it went well. I have to admit I did feel some pressure because of the deadline, even though there was enough time to knit the garment in the given deadline. It's just because that there was a deadline to respect and that just added a little pressure to the project. But the top was fairly quick to knit up, so it was a nice project. It's the beginning of the video and my battery already died, so I hope I'll be able to record before my second battery dies. So I was saying, I posted a whole vlog about knitting up this project, so check that out if you want to watch it and if you haven't watched it yet. Because it was a roller coaster. I made a lot of mistakes. Some you still can see on the garment, but I tried to hide them as much as possible. The most visible problem I have is the difference in colour between the top of the garment and the bottom of the garment, because I started knitting with skeins of yarn I had in my stash and I ordered the remaining skeins I needed to finish it, but so it was the same colorway, but the colors were slightly different. Someone suggested using tea to dye the garment, and I think that's a great idea. I think it could really give a subtle, natural tint to it and hopefully hide the difference in color. I didn't intend to knit the top so big. It's not supposed to have so much ease, but I read my gauge wrong, which happens a lot. And so I made it bigger than expected. Anyway, check out the test knit vlog to follow the roller coaster of a project. The top has very simple yet classic and stylish construction. It is stockinette stitch all around. There is no ribbing at the collar or at the sleeves, or the armholes, because there are no sleeves actually, and there's only a few rounds of ribbing at the bottom. You also have some short row shaping at the neck and also at the back, because the back is slightly longer than the front. I love how the collar slightly rolls outward and how the edges of the sleeves roll inwards, making them very neat, where there's no real edging. And I also love the line of stitches you have at the shoulders on both sides. It just gives this very nice detail. The pattern recommends 4mm needles for the body and 3.5mm needles for the ribbing and also the cast on, and that's what I used. The yarn recommended is a sport or light DK weight yarn, and I used BC Garn Alino in colorway beige, and it's a DK weight yarn and it's made with 50% cotton and 50% linen. In the end, even if I made lots of mistakes, the garment ended up way too big. Well, not way too big, but bigger than expected. I'm happy with the finished project. I would have liked the yarn to be the same colour, but I'll find a solution, it'll be okay. My second finished project is the Kylie Pullover. Yesterday I finished binding off the stitches of the second sleeve and I'm so happy because I can't wait to wear it. Also kind of sad because I really enjoyed knitting this garment up and I'm sad it's finished. I'm sad I won't be able to knit on it again. I still haven't blocked my version yet because, well, I just finished it and I know it's going to look a lot neater once blocked, and also it's going to possibly stretch out because it's a lace pattern. This is my second Irene Lynn project and I had so much fun on both projects. I like how her patterns are written up It could also be because of their overall lace and cable patterns. They're just never boring and really interesting to knit up. It was also very quick to knit up, and yeah, I had so much fun. So the Kylie Pullover is a cropped top with an overall lace and cable pattern, and it has short or long sleeves. The two versions are available in the pattern. You start by knitting the back panel flat, then you pick up one shoulder, you knit that shoulder and make some increases for the collar and well, for the neckline, and then you pick the other shoulder and do the same on the other side. Then you join them both together, finish knitting the front, join in the round, and then you finish the body off in the round. Finally, you pick up the stitches for the sleeves and then knit it in the round too. So I made the short sleeved version, as you can see, but the pattern also includes a long sleeve version if you prefer. What I really love about Irene Lin's patterns is the details and also the thought she has put into her patterns. For example, the pattern repeats at the shoulders for the front and the back panels join perfectly. It just shows the quality of her designs. It's gorgeous. The yarn I chose for this project is Sandnes Garn Liner in colorway Raspberry. It's a worsted weight yarn made with 53% cotton, 33% viscose and 14% linen. I'm very happy with the color I chose. It's going to be perfect for summer. And I used the recommended needles in the pattern, which are 4mm needles for the body and 3.5mm needles for the ribbing, for the edging. Actually, for the edging, I went with the first option proposed in the pattern instructions, which is not ribbing. It's simply some rows of knit stitches and then purl stitches and then again knit stitches and then you bind off. And I think it gives the top a very neat look to it, and yeah, it's different from your classic ribbing. The pattern also gives the option to do a ribbing at the edges if you want to, but I think it would be more suitable for an actual jumper version with long sleeves, not so much for a top version with short sleeves. I don't know, that's my opinion, my preferences, but you can make it as you prefer, and that's the beauty of crafting your own garments. On my needles, well, where to start? I had about 5.5 skeins of Sandnes Garn Tin Silk Mohair in stash in colorway Deep Red. I initially intended to use it held together with Cascade Yarns 220 in Bordeaux to knit up a cardigan, but the fabric it made was too heavy for what I was looking for and it didn't suit the cardigan design. And so I found another yarn to use instead. So I had, 5.5 skeins of Tin Silk Mohair in stash, and I was looking for a project I could knit using this. I scrolled and scrolled Ravelry for a long time looking for a pattern I could use. I found a few contendants. I initially found the Provence Blouse by Ekaterina Vorobeva. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, aka This Cozy Nest on Instagram. It has this lovely lace pattern on the top and on the sleeves, and it resembled a store-bought jumper I have and that I love. It also has a lace pattern in the front here and on the shoulders. So I started this pattern and it was going well, but to be completely honest, I found the explanations quite difficult, well, not difficult but complicated to follow, especially for the lace pattern. It was quite easy to make mistakes and not so easy to fix with lace actually. And when I was writing down my notes for this podcast, and they're down here so that's why I'm looking down, I looked back at another pattern I had in mind, and that was the Cumulus blouse O-neck by Petite Knit. So I'm sure you've heard about this pattern before. Everyone knows Petite Knit's patterns. So the Cumulus blouse O-knit is a simple overall stockinette stitch blouse with an I-cord edging. To be honest, I think I need a simple mindless knit right now for this yarn. So I'm going to frog what I started with the Provence blouse, and I'll be casting on the Cumulus blouse O-neck shortly. I think it's going to be very nice in this deep red colour. Now I've been scouting Ravelry for my next summer top. I have 2 yarn options in my stash, which are 3 skeins of Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in colourway Blue Tit. So this is 100% silk fingering weight yarn. And I also have 6 skeins of BC Gone Alino in colourway Bordeaux. So that's a DK weight cotton and linen blend. So for the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, I have 2 ideas. There's the Hope Top by Gudrun Fezel. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that completely wrong. It's a simple yet very nice V-neck tank top worked in stockinette stitch and has a lovely edging around the collar, the neckline, and also armholes, which looks like cables, and I find it really interesting. It's a simple construction, but this small detail elevates the whole design, and I love that. My second option is the Fleur Cami by Brianna Mason. I've been eyeing lace pattern tops lately and found this gorgeous top that has this overall delicate lace pattern repeat. It's giving fresh summer countryside vibes. It's beautiful. This garment is knitted bottom up though, and I'm not used to knitting bottom up garments in general. They kind of scare me. Plus the fact that you have to cast on the whole body count of stitches first, preferably using an Italian tubular cast on. So I feel like it's going to be complicated. It's not going to be a piece of cake. You have to be concentrated on what you're doing to get it right. It seems more difficult than the Hope Top for sure, but it looks so good. I already made a swatch for this pattern using 3mm needles instead of the 2.5mm ones recommended, because I don't have 2.5mm needles and I wanted to see what the gauge would look like with my 3mm ones instead, and as expected the gauge is off. I also made a mess of the pattern repeats in the swatch because I wasn't paying too much attention when I was doing it. I was concentrated on my Supernatural episode, which was the last episode of season 11 with Mara. So anyway, when I knit my swatch, I was thinking to myself, do I really want to knit a whole fingering weight top with the lace pattern? I don't know, I'm not very sure. Anyway, I need to buy myself a pair of 2.5mm needles to have a pair to check my gauge for either of these patterns. I mean, I have this yarn in stash, so I might as well use it. I think I'm gonna cast on one of these soon and we'll see how long it takes me to knit it up. For the BC Gone Alino, I was looking for a top with an overall lace pattern again, but also buttons in front, and found a pretty pattern from Camille aka Massimi on Instagram, and this is the Be My Tulip top. It's a V-neck shaped top with a lovely romantic style overall lace pattern and small buttons in the front. The garment is knitted bottom up again and the button band is knitted afterwards, so you're supposed to knit the garment flat and not in the round, unless you decide to stick the front section where the button band will be to knit the body in the round, but that's not what the pattern suggests. I mean, you can figure that out if you want. I haven't done a gauge swatch yet, but the recommended gauge is 22 stitches by 29 rows in the lace pattern design using 3.5mm needles, and the recommended ease is 3 centimeters of negative ease to 5 centimeters of positive ease. So based on the recommended gauge and ease, I should knit size XS if my gauge swatch is right, that is. If not, I'll have to calculate which size to knit to fit my recommended ease. So that's where I'm currently at. Until my next podcast episode, I'll keep you updated on my projects on Instagram, so be sure to follow me there if you're not following me yet to see how everything goes, and the link is in my description box. And also if you're not following the channel, please follow, so then you'll be able to get a notification when my next podcast episode pops up. And yeah, let me know what summer tops you want to knit this summer, if you are knitting any, and do you prefer simple mindless stockinette stitch garments or more elaborate lace or cable designs? Anyway, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Happy knitting!